Hello! Behind me there's a very large roundel, which can mean only one thing. Yes, I'm about to get on the tube here at Rayners Lane Tube Station as we start another episode of Secrets of the Underground.
We start our journey heading south from Rayners Lane on the Piccadilly line, where there's a small section of abandoned track.
So coming up here, just heading south, is an old piece of railway track, just there. And we're going to go and see where that went.
And this is how it used to look on a tube-style map. A small branch curving off, except it never used to carry passenger trains, it used to carry coal trains. Time to go and walk to it on foot.
So this is it, we've come down to street level. This used to be a track of railway that used to go to the Harrow and Stanmore Gas Company. They were formed in 1855, but then of course the tube and railways came, so they realised that they could run trains here. Coal trains would run in starting in 1910 to deliver all the coal that they would then burn to use to make gas. But it closed down, where its fate was sealed in 1933 when the LPTB was formed. That's the London Passenger Transport Board, which brought together the amalgamation of all the underground lines, and they stopped operating as separate companies, and as one combined system, branches like this were actually shut down. So the track used to go further. It's been taken right back to just this short little stub left, but it's fun to look out the window as you're travelling down the Piccadilly line and see this old line that used to go to the gasworks.
Staying with the Piccadilly, if you ever travel on the northern section up to Cockfosters, you'll probably be aware of the long distance between Manor House and Turnpike Lane stations. Normally tube stations are about 2 minutes apart, but the travel time between these two is over 3 minutes. That's because there's no station in between to break this distance up.
But there could have been, and we've come here to the site today where that station might have been. We're in N15, Killingner Road, and just down here there's a building, some of you may have walked past it if you live in the local area, which is built in London Underground style. Behind these gates here, and through those red doors in there, that takes you through to a ventilation shaft which leads you down to the Piccadilly line. You can see the whole building here is in classic London Underground style. So here in N15 in Haringey, it's the site of what could have been another tube station on the Piccadilly line.
Next up, we switched to the Jubilee and went down to Southwark, where you may already know about the lesser used exit and entrance to the station which links up with the nearby Waterloo East. This leads to there being a sort of no man's land here, where two competing gate lines stand off against each other as a bored member of staff watches on with nothing much happening. But what is interesting about this area is that if you exit the station, it's actually possible to see this area from the street. Just take a 60-second walk from the station, turn right, into Hatfields,
and you get to this point here, a window down this side street where if you peer through, you can see into that no man's land.
Staying with the Jubilee, and as we love grammatical errors only second to step counting in these videos, we want to point out something about St John's Wood Station. On platform signage, it's shown with an apostrophe, and on the in-carriage dot matrix displays, an apostrophe. And on the tube map, yes, there's an apostrophe. And of course, even
the sign outside the station has got an apostrophe.
But if you go to the station itself, head down to platform level,
and yet you've guessed it, the one on the platform, the roundel, doesn't have an apostrophe.
Changing lines again, we got onto the Circle line. Hang on, no. The Hammersmith and City line. Hang on, no. Really, it's the Metropolitan line. Because until 1990, the H&C didn't exist. This section of the tube between Baker Street down to Hammersmith was actually part of the Metropolitan line, the colour of which, of course, is purple.
Which is why it's cool here that at Ladbroke Grove, the railings are in Metropolitan purple.
Now, some of our favourite things that people walk past every day and never spot are the tiles and tile patterns on the tube network. And here, at Vauxhall, where the exit to the tube comes up into the bus station,
there's something which you will have missed because it's really hard to spot. And it reminds me of my bathroom. It's down here. They have these little tiles with the tube map on. How cute is that?
As always, there's almost too many things to squeeze into one video, but there are a few small things that we want to give a quick mention to. Next time you're at Greenford, apart from taking a ride on the incline lift, see if you can spot this erroneous sign that mentions Shepherd's Bush Green Station, which doesn't exist. Make a note of the fact too that the sign at the secret stairwell at Euston Station says that there's 51 stairs, when there are in fact 64. And also, we mentioned the Hammersmith and City line earlier taking over from the Metropolitan. Well, here at Upton Park, no one's told them, and there's still this old gorgeous lightbox style sign which references the Met. And have you ever realised that the platforms at Liverpool Street are numbered 1 and 2 for the subsurface platforms, but 4 and 5 for the Central Line platforms? So where is platform 3? Well, it used to be a terminating bay platform up on the subsurface level as well. Nowadays, it's where this building is, but if you look at this old photo leaning over a wall, it shows you where the tracks used to be down below, and that's why there's no longer a platform 3 at Liverpool Street. But for super nerd value, we think that this is the winner. If you look at any old style classic underground logo, like this, you'll notice that the diamonds above and below the letters fall in between the letters as separators. Everywhere that is, except here, at Arsenal, where for some inexplicable reason they've been evenly spaced instead, meaning that they don't fall in between the letters of the station name, thus breaking the design rule that is correct everywhere else.
And that brings us to another end of an episode of Secrets of the Underground, and that may not be the end. If we discover more stuff in the future that we didn't know, rest assured we will make another episode. Thanks for watching.